And that is so true for so many 15-year-old kids.
Not this one.
No, not that one.
Not this
one.
Welcome to this week's episode of Treason Space. I'm Nate, and with me, as always, is Jason. And this week we watched the 2024 comedy, The 4:30 Movie.
We did. It's I didn't even know it was out until I think yesterday. And some amazing way we scored a way to watch this movie.
We did.
And we did. And then we just watched it. It's a Kevin Smith flick.
It plays like a John Hughes movie, but it is a Kevin Smith flick. And I guess before we really kind of dive into this movie, why don't we go ahead and let you at home know what this movie is about? Mm-hmm. It's a coming-of-age story set in the summer of 1986 that follows three 16-year-old friends who spend their Saturdays sneaking into the movies at their local Cineplex. When one of the guys invites the girls of his dreams to see an R-rated film, all hilarity breaks loose as a self-important theater manager and teens rivals interfere with their best laid plans.
English is hard.
Day old George come in there, talk about tasting his own bourbon. Kramer comes sliding in, just how he always do. I tell you what, man, them dang old New York boys, just to show.
It is hard.
And that's exactly what this movie was. And they were 16, which, there was things going on in here. None of them were, unwholesome, but I can see why. This was a rated R movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
And it makes sense. And the movie that they want to go watch by the made up character Bucklick. Bucklick was the movie Fletch. In case I saw the poster and it was definitely the movie Fletch.
Yeah,
and it made so, and I was like so happy about that. So,
this movie was set for the 80s, but golly, does it set myself up for the 90s as well. If you are a millennial or a zennial, like I am, an elder millennial, you can relate to this movie with a lot of the cuteness behind it, the innocence. It was really well done. It
was well done, and let's kind of like go from the beginning to the. I mean, we hardly ever go beginning to the end, but that's fine.
Try.
We do. There's the main character is Kevin Smith's biopic.
Yes. Biopic.
This is what a day in his life when he had a date to go watch a movie at 4:30, and he asked the girl they had a crushing on for a whole year to go. And the summer prior, they were in the pool and they were kissing and making out. They weren't in a relationship, but she offered to let him
touch a booby.
I mean,
that's second base, buddy.
I'm telling you, he was probably 15. He says 16 here, so he was either 15 or 16. So that's about correct. That's honest. That's honest.
It's about the time you touch a booby.
Yeah, and we don't know if he does or not. I mean, I guess he does. We know that, but I don't think we know at the very beginning if he did.
He didn't.
Right. But I don't know if they said throughout the whole day, because it kind of clips to the present tense, so he could have touched it later. Point is, he don't touch it.
No. And he regrets it for the entire year.
Because he's trying to be a nice guy. And that is so true for so many 15-year-old kids,
Not this one.
No, not that one.
Not this one.
No.
You want to touch my booby? I do.
Yeah,
I would love to touch your booby. Come here.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying I want that to happen now, but when I was 15, absolutely.
When I was 15, I was kissing up on a girl, whatever. We're making out boyfriend, girlfriend. I got to touch a boob. Cool. But if a girl, was just in a makeout session, because there really wasn't really many makeout sessions like they do now.
No.
Back in 86. It didn't happen.
You
didn't just hook up.
When you made out, that was hooking up.
Yes. When you kiss someone behind the bleachers at the
football game?
Yes. That was a hookup. Nowadays, hookup means you had sex with a person after moving for 2 minutes. One night stand in 2 minutes. That's not how it was. So
now, I do want to get back into this. So I will relate that this movie to me had very strong Mallrats vibes. a lot of the dialogue back and forth, the heart behind it. There's one point where the "Hey, I'm from New Jersey," that guy, he runs into his wrestling hero. That's very Brody-esque, meeting Stanley at the mall, and he has that change of
who he is,
right, and it's still it's TS and pining over his girlfriend. It's the same formula, except it's not at a mall.
Well, it makes you wonder.
It's in a movie theater.
Well, it makes you wonder if he did Mallrats because of that day, and he wasn't going to put his own money behind that movie yet, and so that's what Mallrats was, basically a nod to that day, because it's very similar. And then when he finally said, "You know what? I got the money I want. I can make any movie I want. I'm actually going to make the movie that was supposed to be."
I guess I don't know. I think it's. For me, I can't help but it's Kevin Smith getting back to his early roots of,
right.
He found his heart again. I think, he did his reboot movie, which was fine. And then he did Clerks 3 where he almost died and he killed off one of his characters. And now it's young Kev, like a rebirth almost, if you will. He just got reborn.
Yeah,
in this world.
So now I'm going to skip to the end. Spoilers, and we're going to say spoilers. We're going to get to spoilers right now. There's only one real spoiler in there here. So skip 10, 15 seconds, maybe 30.
He gets to touch a boobie.
And the reason this is spoiler because it just came out like yesterday. So we don't know when you're going to see this. At the end, when he's sitting out front of the quick stop.
Yes.
To get a job. Who is he? Who is he in the Clerks universe? Is he a character in the Clerks universe at all? Is he Silent Bob? Because he's not Silent Bob.
I guess he's somebody else that's supposed to work there.
He just worked there. He was never in the Clerks show because he's not Dante.
Well, yeah, because
David something.
In Clerks, Kevin Smith wrote the movie for him to be Randall. That's why Randall has all the good jokes.
Right.
But he is Dante in that movie.
Okay. So he sees himself in two different ways. That's what I'm just wondering because that's the twist at the end.
I guess ultimately, Kevin Smith wrote what he knows.
Yes.
Kevin Smith. Like, I felt like might be on tangent, but with Jay and Silent Bob movies, it's hard to write that because he's not really Silent Bob.
No.
And they don't sell drugs.
No.
And they're not, virgins or, coonhounds or whatever, trying to chase up skirt. He's writing what he knows. Heartbreak. And love.
Yes, and it's all those older ones and like Clerks and Mallrats and all. And this one definitely seems like a coming of age stories, all of them.
Right.
And he's very good at it. And this one, I don't know if anybody had like a standout performance. They all just kind of hit their cues. But I did like the main actress.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she did a really good job. Ken Jeong.
Yeah.
Ken Jeong. He's the person that runs the
movie manager.
The movie manager, yes. He's an ass, and he was great.
He played, Ken Jeong can play an asshole very well.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. It's crazy. He's a doctor.
It is.
Yeah, even there's a lot of cameos in this movie. Rosario Dawson's in it.
All the people from Clerks.
Yeah, Jeff Anderson's in it. Brian Halloran is kind of in it.
Yeah. They did. He just took all those people. Justin Long. I think that was my favorite cameo. Justin Long.
He played that very well.
He did. was so good, and there's a lot of nostalgia there for me because I grew up in the '80s. I mean, this is about 2 years before I was going to be a senior, so
This was the year I was born.
I understood everything that was going on. Sneaking into the theater, trying to go to the bathroom, waiting for the next movie to begin, and getting to that theater to watch the other movie, and I did that a couple times. I never try to sneak a girl into an R-rated movie because the thing is they're both like 16.
Right.
And he's trying to take her to an R-rated movie.
Right, exactly. I'm not trying to go see Astro Blasters.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
And I love the fact that he included a movie within the movie, and it had the title card or the previews
Of the different movies. That was
right.
excellent.
And then it showed a TV screen with a commercial on it, like with the 80s retrograde cinematography. Like,
right.
He really paid a lot of attention and detail. Like we were talking about earlier, the Twizzler wrapper.
Yes. He got, and I love Twizzlers when I go to the movie theater. So,
I personally want to see a sequel with these kids. I want to see what they get into next. I want to know what the next.
So almost like he gets to work at the Quick Stop, and then you start to see his story at the Quick Stop, and he actually runs into Dante, and Dante gets hired. Like, how does that ending begin? Clerks 1.
Well, I want to see, like, tell me another Kevin Smith high school story. What else happened? What happened your senior year? What happened with you and Melanie Barnegat?
So in other words, not a story that continues like a Star Wars continuation story, but a story within that universe that still matters.
A whole new universe, yeah.
Yeah, but still within the Clerks universe, but not with the same character. But except them. They're
right.
characters, but not with... Okay.
I want to see a Howard Hughes universe that Kevin Smith builds with these kids. Like, they are buddies. They are pals. All of a sudden, they bring in this Melanie girl, and she's fitting into the clique. Like, what do the other ones get girlfriends? Do the other, like,
right?
What happens next with these kids? I want to know what happens with these children.
Because I'm also looking at, they say that they're all 16, which means there's a scene in the theater where one of the 16-year-olds is having sex with a college girl.
That happened.
And I'm like, now I've never had sex in a theater. I worked in a theater, and I've had sex in the projection booth.
Yes.
But I worked there, and no one's going to bother us. And the movie was playing, and, whatever. And I was of age, and so was she, I think. So, no, I'm joking that she was. I'm just teasing. But, and I made out with girls in the theater.
Yeah. I
grabbed a boob.
Got some handies in the movie theater.
But she's up riding him, and I'm like, wait a minute, he's not 16 years old, because he did not portray as 16.
Well, he's 17.
Okay.
Because he's got his license.
Right.
He's got a car, so he's got to be 17, I would imagine.
So it's just, I don't understand that part, but I've never known anyone to actually have sex in a theater during a movie.
Well,
even back then.
I mean, apparently this is based off of true stories. So apparently his buddy was really banging out when I'm back to the movie theater.
And his other friend, and like every Kevin Smith movie like this, there's always a falling out, and then someone just explodes with a speech, says this is what it is, and this is what it is, and you need to shut up, and I've been watching you, and it's the one guy you never think is going to say anything. And I didn't even see it coming. I didn't see that coming. I figured it would be like the mother or someone that I didn't see that coming. But it was typical Kevin Smith. It felt very Kevin Smithish.
Right.
Yes.
It felt before Jay and Silent Bob were the hinge.
Right, what everybody loved.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, it was a real good movie. I think we should probably see what the viewers at home think about this. What do you think?
I absolutely think so, because I think they're going to agree with me.
I think they're going to agree with me.
Well, I think you're probably right. I have no idea what, let's find out.
Let's do it. The first 5-star review comes from Melanie. Is it Clerks? No. But why does anything Kevin Smith make has to be that? For Gen Xers, it's wonderful trip down memory lane, and in a world of constant connections, divisions, and opinions. This movie was a cleansing breath. I wonder if this style of storytelling will be a one-off for Mr. Smith. I hope not.
Melanie, you're right. And the complexities of today's world completely different than the 80s where, I mean, to even do the stuff they were doing,
Yeah.
the way we were doing stuff. Well, you mentioned in one of the other videos we had, like how we didn't have cell phones. You know, I lived a lot in the before times.
Yes, the before times.
The before times. How, yes, so I appreciate that. And no, it's not a one-off. It's what Kevin Smith does until he went off into the Jay and Silent Bob thing that you were talking about.
Right.
So, okay. The very first 1 star from Stephen S. My girlfriend and I agree that this was one of the worst films we've seen in a long time. Whole thing felt like a bad SNL skit. The actors looked like they were acting. Didn't feel real nor slightly entertaining for the audience.
I have personally never seen an SNL skit touch me in the feels with the 3 H's: heart, humor, and heroics.
What? Okay, I'm gonna let you have that because there was a hero. I personally think the hero was the girl.
Oh no, the hero was a dude
Crashing the car?
defending his girl's honor and taking a swing at his
yeah.
buddy.
I also think
And
the hero was
standing
the
up for
buddy
her.
who made his and he crashed his car.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of heroes.
Yeah.
Heart. I mean,
It
I guess
was a
it had
love
heart.
story.
I guess it's heart. Humor. There's okay. I guess it had all 3. I mean, just because it has those 3 doesn't mean it's a great movie.
Any hoodles. The next 5-star review comes from John P.
John P. I know him.
I loved how original the plot was. The acting was phenomenal. The movie makes you feel like you're in the 1980s. The slapstick jokes were pretty good and well timed.
Yeah, that was. I did appreciate the. I'm not a masturbator appreciator, but I did appreciate the masturbation in the bathroom.
Sex poo.
I loved how that kid just kept getting kicked out of the movie theater.
That was a really continuous joke.
Right.
And his friend's like, I'll meet you in the back. What?
What?
I will meet you in the back. It's like that was okay. That was funny.
Yeah. I'll meet you in the back again.
It kept getting, and I can see, and the thing is, I could see this being like, not Dante, the other one,
Randall?
right? Which is the guy that dies in part 3?
Dante.
So Randall, I can see Randall being like, "I'll meet you in the back."
Yeah.
And open it, and whoever it is, that one guy, the dorky dude that turned into like the Christ guy, then he turned into the rock guy, in the Clerks movies. And then he got the other guy next to him.
Oh,
can't remember his name. The really small dude.
Yeah.
They
I
all
know who you're
picked on
talking
him.
about.
Yeah. He would be the guy out there. Like, I will get you.
Yeah.
I can see that. That's who these characters were to me. So I do appreciate that. You know, the more we talk about it, the more I see this, the more I remember. I'm getting half a tree there, half a stump more.
I'm slowly growing on this movie.
Yeah. So the next 1 star, Mike J. If you can get past the creepiness of Smith casting his daughter as a prostitute nun, you have to watch the movie, and her 29-year-old real-life boyfriend as a 17-year-old fictionalized version of himself, you'll probably still hate this movie. Hardcore Smith fans will continue to overlook the fact that he just isn't funny anymore. If you want an 80s-inspired summer coming-of-age movie, watch last year's Snack Shack instead.
Do not go see Snack Shack. It is an awful movie.
I don't think I've seen it.
I couldn't get past 15 minutes of that movie. I'm glad I didn't pay to go watch it. Just like Weatherman, when I left the movie theater, it was crap. So, suck it. Thomas L. is the last 5-star review. A real pleasure, funny, warm, and full of charm, feels more like John Hughes or early Richard Linklater than a signature Kevin Smith film.
You mentioned John Hughes, and when you said that, I said yes. I said it felt like a older Kevin Smith. I don't know who Richard Linklater is, but we probably should watch one of his films.
Yeah, maybe I'll do a little scroll somewhere around here.
Or you can tell us who he is and what movie you want us to see that he did.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Just pretend there.
Right down there. And the last 1-star review, Robert R. This movie left me ready to take a shower and rinse off the feeling I was left with after viewing the movie. Coming of age in the area of New Jersey must have been devoid of any decent guidance. I did not find it in any way uplifting or with a moral center. It absolutely had a moral center. Mm-hmm. It was a coming of age, kids doing what kids do, but it had a moral center, and the moral center was the main character.
It was love. 24 karat love, baby.
Yeah. I'm not going to defend most of this movie because I like the movie just fine, but that's an ass review.
And finally, the first review comes from Michael W. on September the 12th of 2024 with 5 stars. I was fortunate to be able to see this movie at a Kevin Smith's charity premiere at Smodcastle Cinemas.
He's been there.
I have been there.
Which is where this was filmed.
It was. The 4:30 movie invokes a lot of teen angst movies of the 80s, 90s. The difference is this movie is a personal story of Kevin Smith's loves of movies, so he handles the direction well. The usual Smith suspects are all here in minor roles, and the real stars are the 3 main actors. They have some real chemistry and really drive the movie. Ken Jeong shines as their arch nemesis and reminds me of a George Carlin, who was a favorite in previous Kevin Smith movies. Overall, a wonderful yet different for Kevin Smith, but made with nostalgia.
That's fair. It's very.
Do you imagine George Carlin in that role?
Oh my God! When you said George Carlin, I just about. I mean, because what? In case y'all didn't know, Dogma might be my favorite Kevin Smith film. It might be, and George Carlin is not no small part of that.
Yeah,
just great. Yeah.
All right. So we heard what we thought. We heard what you all at home thought. Let's go ahead and get into what the critics and the audience scored this movie. The critics, I'm actually surprised with these scores. I shouldn't be surprised, but I am, because I loved this movie. 75% from the critics. Audience scored this at 82%.
I'm going to say that Kevin Smith is probably in league with the devil, and now because of that, the critics are sucking his dick because I'm not sure it's 475, and I also think audience is 82 because I think a lot of the Kevin Smith folks were waiting for his movie, so they went and watched it and they graded it on a scale. It's not terrible. I just don't think it should be to that point.
Well, that's a good tease because now it's time for us to tell you what we scored this movie. Well, I'm going to go first and say that I would absolutely recommend this movie to my surgeon. It was a very charming and cute movie. I went into this movie with the expectations of not liking it whatsoever because there were no Dick and Fart jokes. It wasn't a Kevin Smith, Jay and Silent Bob movie, which is generally my favorite of the movies. However, with that said, I thought the acting was great. I thought the direction was perfect. I thought the script was very well done with the editing done perfectly. I was originally going to say that this was a 3-tree movie, but the more we talked about it, I feel like this may be my second or third favorite Kevin Smith film now, and I will say it's a 4-tree movie from this fan right here.
Now it's my turn.
That's fair. And I say it's fair because he is a fan. I would recommend it to my surgeon. I think it had a lot of cute spots. I would, if you like Kevin Smith, you're gonna like this movie because it's a Kevin Smith movie. It's just like me with Friday 13th. I love Friday 13th because of Jason. I like the movies. When he's not in there, I don't like the movie. There's a few of them like that. I thought the writing was top notch because it always is, but it was also very expected because that's what Kevin Smith does. I thought the acting was okay. I do think the main three were the main driving force, but I thought their acting was just okay. The cinematographer were great because of 1980s feel to it and everything else they did. The attention to detail that you mentioned before we got on here, amazing. When you turned it on, I said, good, I wanted to watch this because I didn't think I was going to really care. I thought I was going to fall asleep watching it.
Yeah, I had very low expectations. Sorry to...
No, that's fine. That's fine. And after talking about it, I was going to give it 2 trees and a stump, but after I talked about it, I'm going to give it 3 trees.
You know, I think that's fair. And again, we're right on par pretty much with the audience and the critics.
I guess we are.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Treason Space as much as we have enjoyed doing it. Feel free to leave a like, a comment. You can subscribe. Until next time, we'll see you same place, same channel, Treason Space, here on YouTube. Goodbye, everybody.
What?